Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and dale to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee, da-dee, a fwit-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Ya-da-da-da-da-lie-da-lie. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Gothic Horror Gaming. Once again, I am your Gloom Master, and Handler Z is here with me. We are doing a little interlude between adventures. We will be having our chill game starting up again next week, hopefully, scheduling permitting. Trying to get us all back into the swing of things. But Handler Z, you just wrapped up your most recent Delta Green game.
I did. It's not my absolute favorite game. I really actually enjoyed the one just before this because of all the research and the cool stuff that I got to sort of link together. But this was one of, I would say, arguably the most Delta Green of Delta Green games that I ran. Where I was like, okay, you guys are all spies and you're here to kill Nazis. Let's see what happens. And it was so exciting to be able to have that of like, okay, we're just going to do a James Bond movie. Let's see where we go. It was great.
Before we get going too much, just a quick reminder to everyone out there that this is a horror-themed channel. Our stream, not Nat 21, but Gothic horror in particular. So sometimes we do delve into gore, extreme violence, creatures of common phobias, death, very morbid things.
Chances are we won't be covering much of that tonight, but it is something to be aware of on our streams at 10 p.m. Eastern in general. We do this late so that it isn't creepy in, broad daylight.
Yeah, we've killed miners and miners.
And miners, yes.
Yes, there's been a lot of that. And we have some of our players who are going to be joining us here in just a moment, but we also want to thank our sponsors once again. We have our Ren Adventures. Ren Adventures. If you've ever wanted to go into Europe and tour around and also be geek themed, have we got the tour for you? It's the Dungeons and Dragons tour of Scotland and England, July of 2022. Check it out at renadventures.com. They also do tours of just general Ren Adventures in Italy, in the Czech Republic. I said Czechoslovakia. That doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
All sorts of places. We're always trying to expand, so be sure to check that out. We also have Little Empire. Little Empire tabletop gaming supplies. They have an Etsy shop. Get dice towers, dice trays, terrain, all sorts of fun stuff right there. So check out Little Empire. And Handler Z, some of our others, tabletop teas. Geek-inspired tea blends. So if you rather would not drink beer, but want to or whiskey or wine or something alcoholic, and you want to stay awake for your adventures, how about some tabletop teas? Check that out. And our schedule, we have coming up on Sunday, Savage Moon. We have Monday with Lady Prudence, and also Glamour Hobo Bedtime Tales. Our regular Nat 21 game at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, join Cubby and Shoshana as they do creating with the crew. One of these days when I'm actually home, I'm going to join them and work on some wargaming / D&D terrain.
I never do it because I'm always in the middle of a show or a contract for something else, but I miss it. I want to do it.
I've got a half-completed ruin structured for a fantasy game that I want to finish, and I would like to do it on camera, so hopefully I can do that. And then on Thursdays, obviously, in the morning, Sonnets with Shakespeare, and then at 10 p.m., there's us. So be sure to check us out for all of those things. But we mentioned some of our players are here, so why don't I bring them on right now?
Hooray.
We have Katie, one of our Katies, just finished up Delta Green, and also Dana is here.
I can't point in this stupid thing. For 2 years that I would know how to point, and then it's the opposite direction. It's always that it's the wrong way, but nope, never.
It's baffling.
Yeah. Well, now I gotta try. Okay.
I managed to catch some of the Delta Green game.
Oh, did you?
Is that what we're calling it? All right.
Yes, I did sort of catch up with that
I think you caught it right around here.
Yes, for those of you who missed last week's episode, Katie Bourbon's character was trying to sneak up on a Nazi scientist who had gone to an alternate dimension for like 40 years, and she tried to sneak up on him, and he shot her in the face with a submachine gun.
He sure did.
Sure did.
That's one of those, like, you don't even ask how many hit points you have. Like, oh,
Nope.
it was a submachine gun.
Yep. And Delta Green is built that way, that you have a lethality. So on some weapons, not all of them, but on some weapons, you can run like fully automatic and you could roll for your lethality. So if you get like a 60, that means that you hit and then you lose a certain number of points. But if you get like under 10%, which he happened to roll like a 10, then that meant that you auto crit. You just dead. And sometimes that works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't.
I maintain. I think there should be somewhere on the website where there's like the in memoriam list of like all the characters that die.
There's only been 2 so far. It's so weird.
It?
Yeah, only 2 Delta Green people have died. It was you in this last one, and then Jeff Wolfall died in an adventure.
Oh yes, he did. That's right.
Poor guy.
Interesting enough, none of my chill players have died, although several have been maimed horribly.
Oh God, Arthur Rowan is still recovering from his horrible maiming at the hands of an ogre. No, ice giant, frost giant.
Frost giant. He ended up in a wheelchair at one point. Can
you not smile?
And poor Alex's character.
He ended up in a wheelchair. Yeah, no, it's terrible.
I love it.
Poor Alex's character, Jasper, has been stabbed in the leg so many times. He's always getting stabbed in the leg. At this point,
it's always a leg issue.
I'm just going to have to make sure that he gets stabbed in the leg of every adventure now.
I can't wait. So his adventures, Tom's adventures, have been unintentionally, initially, building up to a particular moment. That's what we're going to have next, is his sort of crucial end point for all of these characters. But it didn't start out that way. And mine, on the other hand, have been just sort of like, okay, random people. Like I was like, let's involve all kinds of fun people in the fair community and see who is available and what's going on, and we'll make it weird. It'll be great. So that's been super fun. And both of you have joined me for 2 separate adventures at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, Sir David Percival. Yes, that is true. Alex has been stabbed in the leg in Chill and then shot in the leg in Delta Green.
Delta Green, yeah. He played a character. He didn't play a character called Alex. He played a different. He was a soccer playing dude in my Delta Green campaign, like the first one that I ran. That wasn't a pre-gen campaign, where they were all going after a squid, and then it ended up the scientists that were on a research vessel were summoning Dagon, which is very Delta Green, but I wrote it myself. And he was a soccer player who I think got like shot in the knee or something ridiculous. Ooh. Or he shot somebody and then they came back to life because Dagon is weird. And yeah, it was.
Dead Meat had a question about Shakespeare's sonnets being on the stream. I believe it is on there. I'm not sure exactly where.
Yeah, there should be a collection of YouTube videos. Feel free to check out Nat 21's YouTube channel, which I think also has a lot of the stuff on here. I know Tommy in our comments has been begging me to give him the access to get all of these videos onto YouTube. So that'll happen eventually, I swear. I'll get it to you. I promise. This may contain adult language.
Yeah, so check that Dead Meat, check that out. It should be on YouTube. The sonnets with Shakespeare should be on the Nat 21 YouTube channel. I think they save all of the episodes, and then from all of the different broadcasts are on there. Maybe Reverend Tommy knows better than I, but Reverend Tommy also brings up a good point that Alex's character's leg was also broken when someone crashed a helicopter into him.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. Yeah, you guys missed that one. That was every once in a while we'll get raids that'll come through. Did either of you experience a raid in any of the previous games? We didn't get it during this last one, but
there was talk of one, and I'm not 100% certain what the hell that is.
So
Yeah.
sometimes in Twitch, people will come from another channel and then raid your channel. So they'll bring over a whole bunch of extra folks, which is always fun. And what Nat21 likes to do is do a reaction to that raid. So sometimes it'll be like, oh no, you're fighting kobolds or like rats. And then I had in that first Delta Green game, I had prepped just in case there was supposed to be a helicopter that was going to come to rescue them, and then I was just going to have it go down. And then a raid happened to happen at the perfect time, and I summoned a flock of seagulls, legitimately, just a giant flock of seagulls that all started attacking the helicopter, and then the helicopter crashed into the side of the research station and took out part of Alex's leg. So you can ask him about that. Dana hangs out with Alex on a regular basis, so she's asking all of these questions about. I hear that you have trouble with your legs, Alex.
Yeah, so let's talk about this broken leg, this injury.
Yeah.
Dead meat. I'm still trying to answer your question here. I am on YouTube right now, and I typed in Nat21 Adventures Sonnets, and they are coming up in there. Writing sonnets with Shakespeare. There's a bunch in there. I'm trying to find the most recent one, but there are a number of them on there. So
if this person is savvy enough to use Twitch, I'm sure they're savvy enough to use YouTube.
Yep, but I was trying to find an actual link so I could just drop the link in there, but I'm not finding that actual one.
It exists.
But if somebody else has some time to take a look and see if they can find it. Dead meat, I searched Nat21 as one word, and then space adventures, space sonnets, and you'll see our own Dan Kostelik as Shakespeare in there. It will say writing sonnets with Shakespeare, and he's got a whole bunch of them on there.
Don't worry about it, babe. I think they'll be fine.
I know. I'm just trying to help.
I know.
Give the people what they want.
I do. Well, there are other things that we can give them. Like, I am curious about. That was hot, whatever that was. I'm curious specifically about with you two. Do you have like favorite moments? Because now you've played in 2 different campaigns and you've done some of this stuff late at night, which is always real fun. And there's a puppy.
And there's a puppy.
There's a puppy. Wonderful. But yeah, do either of you have favorite moments from the Delta Greens that you've played, or anything that you're like, man, now that I've played enough, I should have known this from the first time? There's plenty of that.
Dana. Dana, you're muted, honey.
Dana, you muted yourself.
That's not on me.
Sorry, my boob touched. It's bad when your breast touches it. Oh God.
Oh,
So
my boob muted me. Oh God. Oh, yep.
So anyhow, I earned that during my first game with you.
Oh my God. You had, yes. Her character couldn't shoot anything.
Standing literally right in front.
Right in front.
Right in front. Shot and missed. So Rev Tommy caught me at fair and gifted me with this from Tomboy Togs.
That's so fun.
Adorable.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there was the first game that Dana was in was the one just prior to this. That was called Lateralis. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry, Tom. I always mess that up. Lateralis? Not Lateralis.
Yes, Lateralis.
Lateralis. Okay. Yeah. So the whole game is based on kind of on like Fibonacci, but also on like what is that video game that's supposed to be?
Frogger.
No, it's the game. It's the cabinet.
The mythical game, yeah.
The mythical game cabinet.
Indian in the cupboard.
I'd have to look this up, but anyway, so it's based on this video game, and but beginning with we started out. I wanted to introduce my characters and give them
Polybius.
something to do. Polybius, thank you. So I wanted to give the characters something to do to start out. So I was like, okay, you guys are in the Pacific Northwest already. You're in Washington, and you are fighting a bunch of. They just started straight out. they were fighting a bunch of ghouls in a graveyard. And Dana's character is like point blank in front of this ghoul and cannot hit it, no matter what she did. Like, could have thrown the gun and probably done better than she actually did at shooting this thing and hitting them. And poor Mike Nustel, who was also on this channel, he does the Savage Moon Sundays. He was also playing with us as well, and he was the character that was like the hardened military dude who just keeps looking over at her and just shaking his head as he's like just firing at these guys like blam blam blam, just easy peasy. But yeah, that was.
I think all of our characters just drove his character. What was his name? Aaron. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us did anything he wanted us to do. Like, I'm trying to save your asses, and we would do the exact opposite.
Yeah. But that's so I love that in terms of there are some people who play Delta Green and who play them as this is a military fantasy. I get to live out my great fantasies of being John Cena. And being like this huge buff military dude who can just kill everything and it's going to be awesome. And then there are some people who play the character of whatever they've decided to create, and it's just weird. So like Katie Hauser's character in our first game was she was a Swedish gymnast who was also studying she was studying to become a marine biologist, and she had been given the opportunity to come out and do this study for giant squid and all this other stuff. And she just played the character so cute. She had her hair in little pigtails, and like her thing was she booped a grouper. There was a Goliath grouper that came after them while they were diving, and she kicked it in the face, and she's like, "I booped a grouper on the snoot." And I was like, this is the best character. So like, I love the mix of there are people who are here to be badasses, and then there are people who are here to be, I'm going to be the character that I think works in this situation, and we'll see what happens.
The same happened in my game. I mean, it's my chill games are usually a little bit more serious, but the goofy slips in when we have Alex as Jasper.
Oh my god!
And he works for the British Museum, and he talks like this.
Yes.
And yes, and you're Irish. I'm so sorry. Kind of.
Yes,
thing.
he does that all the time. Like, oh, it's because you're Irish, right? Like
there ended up being a really cool moment between Alex's character Jasper and Arthur Rowan's character, who is McCormack. That's they picking on each other because one's Irish, one's English, and they're just going at each other throughout several different adventures. And there was a moment where they saved each other's lives, and it was kind of like as Rev Tommy just posted, the kind of like a bromance.
Super fun.
It became a bromance there.
Well, Katie, you've played in 2 different campaigns as well. Do you have like a favorite moment or like a standout, like, oh my god, I can't believe that this happened?
I mean, I have a bunch of favorites, and like I was taking notes during the theme song. I know when we were talking before the buttholes in the stream, that was just a fun. Because like I feel like if you're from watching the movie The Gamers, I feel like everyone has that moment where like a cat interrupts your game.
Yes.
Like you're like knocks over your minis or puts his
on the table, knocks your drink off the thing, whatever happens.
Like that's just classic. But of course I loved when the Gloom Master moonlighted as
I was so excited he could do that. I knew coming up to the end of the game that there was going to be a German villain. And I was like, this is a game that's being built on killing Nazis. And I'm bringing you the top tier of Nazis that we hope are dead. But I can't do a German accent. Like Elle, who was also helping us out in the stream, Lady Elsa in Chase Treasure, her mother is German. So like she has an authentic German accent. I've hung out with her. She's like 81. So she knows how to do an accent, and I've tried it a couple of times. Oh my god, we were doing accents in that show, and I kept, what was it? I turned like Australian or something at one point. Like I was trying to do like that, oh bless your heart, oh you're such a cute little, don't you know, kind of thing. I tried to do the Midwestern, and then it slipped into something very different. And I was like, never mind. Yeah.
But
I was like, I can't do German. Yeah.
I loved that moment. I rewatched that clip, just like watching like each of our faces.
You could almost see how we each had a slightly different delay
Yeah.
Mhm.
because it was boom, boom, boom.
Like we all recognize the Gloom Master's voice, but it's just like I just love the different reactions. And then he shot me.
Really, he wrecked your life. That was great.
Yeah, you had it coming. I'm sorry.
It's but it's like we knew that we wanted to end it that night, and like we weren't very stealthy. I wasn't.
Oh my god.
That's
Do we still have like an 80 in stealth?
Trash
in that
cans
character?
and
I did. Like I maxed out my stealth and still like screwed the pooch
Every
every time.
time.
And
Yeah.
that's I want the memorial wall because I wanted to Darla Day, she lived she died how she lived, failing a stealth roll. Because I just which is like me in real life because I'm a goober. But in the other one where we went to Mexico,
Yes. Oh, I love that Mexico game. I'm very proud of that one.
like I forget whose idea it was. Well, one and just when you said like the military fantasy, and I know like your friends played that game, and like the whole time they're like scoping out this and they're researching that and they're creeping around, and we're just like we park, we walk up.
My friends played that game. I did a play test with my best friends who are actually in the military. Like Ben is looking to go into the FBI.
Trash panda.
So they legit, Tom was there. And I tried to run it for Tom's birthday. And they spent like half an hour figuring out the best possible way of sneaking up to this temple. Where people are like sacrificing people to make a mummy, like to raise the dead. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be a thing. And then you guys were like, we're just gonna park the van in the back where there's less lights, and then we're just gonna walk and see what happens.
We die.
Yeah, because they're like, whatever.
That's so like when in this recent one, like we roll up to the big bad's house, and I mean it was like 10 in the morning, so if we like spread out and like looked in the windows, like I feel like that would be more conspicuous.
In the 1970s in a Jewish neighborhood. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Salier! Oh my god, Salier, I have to say. I have 4 drinks in front of me, first of all. I have white wine, sparkling water, V8, and regular water. And then I have cheese. I brought cheese. I am literally eating just a whole thing of brie in the stream today because I love cheese. And because Salier had done this for me before. So just reminding myself of the good times from New Jersey and that I have cheese.
Cheese is important.
Yeah. This is what happens off screen that no one sees, or I don't think that everyone realizes it. And I'd love to see a supercut of me just picking up every different beverage that I have throughout the stream. So I have like 4 different beverages every given time. Because otherwise I just chug wine. I was like, no, okay, I'll keep myself even. But yeah, I have tons of stuff that I drink the whole time.
I do have a note that I'm gonna get some tabletop teas before the next time I play with you guys, and I'm going to brew the tea with wine, and we're gonna see how it goes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I was listening to the ad, and it's like, oh, instead of wine, I'm like, no, you can just add the wine. You can add
it would be hot mulled tea wine.
Yeah.
No, you
make yourself a nice hot toddy.
I got this thing specifically for brewing wine with tea.
Ooh.
Tea with wine.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Because you steep it in the wine. Like you don't like heat it up. You just like steep the tea in the wine.
Nice.
It takes a little longer.
For those of you who are looking over in the comments on the side, Rev Tommy is posting a bunch of clips of all of the captures that have been going on. So
yes.
If you feel like reliving some moments at any point, they are all right over there.
That's what it was. We were trying to figure out off screen that Gloom Master had read a Christmas song, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but you read it in a German accent. That's what killed me. Was that you were like, yeah, we are walking in the winter wonderland. Yeah, like it was just. And there's a clip of it somewhere, but like I that's what made me lose my mind, because I've heard you read some of the other ones, but there was a particular one that you read in a German accent, and I just turned bright red. I was laughing so hard through the whole.
Tommy needs to find that one.
Yeah.
My favorite,
and we'll get to that later on here tonight. I'll do some more. So if you've got some thoughts,
yeah, we have a couple that came up in Discord, but
creepy song lyrics. Preferably, it works best if I'm reading in a creepy, overly dramatic way, something that isn't supposed to be creepy, and then suddenly, like, it's something that isn't just all yeah, or just baby, but something.
There's a lot of that too. Yeah,
something that's got, like, happy, fun connotations, and then I read it in a very, very different way.
And I just want to say, because it's bothering me, because I keep looking at my face, I actually have really cool makeup on. It just looks like I got beat up by a strawberry when I'm like too far back. Like I'm like,
looks good.
Look at all the blood, isn't this so neat? And it's just lipstick. But then I come back here and I'm like, nope, I just got slapped in the face with a fruit. That's great.
You got jammed.
Yeah, I got jammed.
Or as I said before we started, run over by a mountain bike tire.
Just one tire, but only right there.
It's right there.
Got beamed in the face by a mountain bike.
Or your face was held to the wheel.
To the mountain bike. I feel like that's like the beginnings of torture in like a schoolyard setting. Like where you have one kid that like pushes them up, and the other kid is like rolling the tire in front of their face, like a sander.
Right, that's like some Lord of the Rings shit.
Yeah.
My other moment.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
You don't
Aragorn
know what those hobbits get up to in their spare time.
It was Lord of the Dance. She just got kicked.
Samwise Gamgee's on a little big wheel.
Yes. I feel like Gandalf would be on one of those. What's the one that has like the one giant front wheel that you have to like stand on a box to get onto from like the.
Oh, I don't know what those are called.
Those like Victorian bikes,
old tiny bicycles.
Those ridiculous looking ones. I feel like Gandalf would roll in on that.
Yeah.
Good time.
I know that just gave me an image of Gandalf on a skateboard, and I have no idea where that came from or why.
See, I was thinking Gandalf on the recumbent bike.
Yeah, no, he'd be on a recumbent bike. He absolutely would be.
Just laid back with his pipe.
Smoking his pipe the whole time.
Better than horses is yes.
A wizard rolls up exactly what he intends to. So my other favorite moment was in the other game when we were in Mexico City, and we all had these dreams, and everyone else's dream they were a sacrifice, and in my dream I was like the queen that was sacrificing everyone because, and so when we like encountered a zombie and. Because it felt like you were like reminding us of our dreams. And I was like, well, am I like the descendant or I don't know who? So I was just like, I'm your queen, and I say a bunch of stuff from the dream. The zombie's like, sup? And I thought more would come out of that, but then the zombie got destroyed and we buggered off. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'm not going to be queen of the zombies. That's fine.
You guys did set fire to a museum. That was interesting.
We burn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that happens a lot in Denver.
Both you and my chill campaign burn a lot of stuff down.
Oh, yeah. But we kind of put that together. Like, I was like, okay, this is going to be like this most recent campaign for Geist was like, this is going to be a destructive campaign. I've set that up from the beginning. You're supposed to destroy all vectors. That's what this game is. You're supposed to destroy all vectors. So,
I wanted to blow a lot of stuff up. And like I said, the only thing that annoyed me about dying is I had every intention of killing the other two. Well,
finding out you were going to kill us. Oh, man.
So cool.
I was on the fence about killing you because you were a scientist, but the other one, it was good. Like that, like on our way out, it was just gonna be like back the
I'm like,
head.
I gotta be careful when I allow Katie Hauser to play chaotic characters because she likes to do that, and we've done that in other Nat 21 campaigns too. But like she always takes it to the nth degree. She's like, "Can I steal a car?" And I was like, "Okay, what the hell is here?" And now I'm like frantically looking up online, like what cars are available in a random lot in 1975. Like, let me see what's here that I can possibly have her try to hotwire.
And I'm thinking about it afterwards because, like, you know, she's like, "Oh, I leave without paying the check."
Yeah, but they're agents, so it kind of it sort of counts, but doesn't. Everybody else died, so it works out okay.
I was trying, Sir David.
The rocks fell.
But yeah, like we're doing like a dine and dash, and I'm like, "Oh, I drop a 20 on the table." It's not real.
Handler Z, how did we come up with? I remember us talking about the most recent adventure, guys.
Yeah.
And when you were creating it, we were chatting a lot about it. What was the nucleus that started that whole ball rolling? Do you remember?
I think it was okay. So I watch a lot of Watch Mojo lists, and there was a Watch Mojo list, I think, of the top 10 or 20 unsolved mysteries that may have been solved or something like that. I don't remember specifically what it was, but it was something like that. And
Yeah,
one of
that's
them
what it was.
listed was this guy who has never been actually found. Himmler, is that right?
Heinrich Mueller.
Mueller.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mueller.
It's a Himmler they found.
Yeah, Himmler
Yeah.
they did find. Mueller they did not find, although there was a guy, I think like 2013, who came out and said, like, look, we have every suspicion to believe that he was buried in a mass grave with a bunch of Jewish people outside of the city because there were eyewitness accounts at the time of someone in an officer's uniform that was being buried. But Jewish tradition dictates that you cannot unbury anyone. So they just won't dig it up. So they're like, we're just going to assume that he's dead, and he probably died in 1945, right after Hitler died.
But there was no proof, so we're like, okay, he escaped.
Yeah, and that's
Now,
and people have believed that for years. Actually, and it was true in 1966 or 67. They arrested a guy in Argentina that they thought was Mueller, and brought him in. Mueller's wife had identified him as her husband, like actually was like, yeah, this is totally my husband. And then it was only with fingerprints that they were able to prove that it wasn't him. He was someone else. He was definitely a German man who probably worked for the Nazis, who was living in Argentina. So they got all of that right, but they thought it was him and it wasn't.
Yeah. And then he
And then
escaped to Chicago in the 80s and didn't go to high school a lot. And he went on this one-day adventure with his friends. And,
it's great.
That's a clever level of comedy that I hope other people are following. That was good.
and Cameron did not want to go, but he went because he knew he was just going to keep bothering him.
So we started with that he was this German officer who was actually head of the Gestapo.
Yeah, real dude.
We're like, okay, well, so he's disappeared, but now he's back. All right.
How did that work? Yeah.
How did that work? And we were trying to figure out when he should come back. And there was actually, neo-Nazis had a rally outside of Chicago in 78, was it?
Vanished. Yeah.
Yeah, 78.
Was that right around the time that we were putting the game?
Right. And so we're like, oh, well, now he's going to come back then. He's going to come back at that. That's when he's going to reappear. And then we're like, okay, well, how has he been missing for all this time? And that led to the whole idea of the crazy Nazi scientific experiments, them trying to do, like, getting desperate toward the end of the war, just trying off the wall crazy stuff that historically they did. And that's when we came up with he he kind of bamfed like a Nightcrawler into a different dimension, and then he made his way back. But he wasn't a scientist,
No.
so he didn't know how the thing worked, and so that's why he was going around to all the other scientists that had been relocated by the Americans after World War II, and he was trying to find somebody who could make the device work the way he wanted it to. And so that was basically what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then you were catching up on his trail as things were going along.
What I had wanted to have happen at the very end of the game, which I didn't get a chance to do, as you guys were leaving, where I think Thomas, who was the driver, would be driving whoever survived out of the town, was to drive through part of the town where they were setting up the first Holocaust museum outside of Chicago. Like, this really was a real place, and this is really Skokie, Illinois, is where that they set up the first Holocaust museum outside of Chicago in 1978. It started out as just a storefront, and really 40% of the population of that town at that time was a Holocaust survivor. So it was all firsthand accounts and stuff. And that's why it was so significant that they were trying to do a Nazi rally in that town. They were originally going to try to do it in Chicago, but Chicago was like, no, you can't have a rally out here. So then they picked this town specifically to have a rally in. And then that's what went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Also, very funnily enough, it is absolutely referenced in the John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd opus, Blues Brothers, when it says, I hate Illinois Nazis. That's because that had just happened.
Yeah. That was in there.
I put a GIF of that on one of our first posts, and I was like, in case you missed it, this was us.
But that's what Handler Z and I will often do, is we will, when we're creating adventures, we'll try to find something historical to wrap it around, to base it around.
I don't know why she keeps disappearing.
And then figure out how we can make it a cult, like making Dana disappear and reappear.
Magic.
So it's been there's a lot of that when we're trying to come up with these adventures, going behind the scenes. We'll try to figure something either like in legend or historical that then we can make and twist it into the supernatural and make that happen. The very first Chill game that I ran was set in Ireland, and it was based.
That's so good.
I love that one. I've run that game 5 different times now, and the players cry at the end of every one. Every time I've run it with a group.
It's rough. It's real sad. Ask Alex about it, because I think he cried.
Yeah.
I know Christine Nigerian did.
Yeah, and and May did too. It's just like, get them.
Beautiful.
But it's based on some actual legend. It's set in a town where there used to be a statue to Crom, and I'm probably mispronouncing the other name, Crioche. It's a Gaelic, so I'm not exactly sure how that's pronounced. But
are you just eating cheese like hand fruit?
It totally spawned initially from me just going, I wonder if just one day just goofing around on the internet, I went thinking of Conan the Barbarian. I'm like, Crom. I wonder if Crom was a real thing. And then I stumbled across that, and then away and away it went. And it just, I just built it around that idea, throw in a couple of leprechauns, and away we go.
Oh, that is awesome.
Love that. Yeah, like our adventure in Mexico wasn't even like intended to be touchy-feely, and then like at the end, I think that was Katie Hauser's doing of we have this bear that talks to ghosts, or you can ghost talk to it, and someone just died. She's like, can we talk to his spirit through a bear?
It's just wild. I forgot you guys did that part. Yeah,
it was so touching. It was just like he got to say goodbye, and I'm just like,
take care of my kids. I was like,
right, like
I didn't mean to kill you. It was the mummy. I'm sorry.
Dead Meat. Yes. That's one of the things. Whenever I set a game in the modern era, I encourage my players to Google stuff because
Oh, yeah.
it's all there.
Yeah.
Totally searchable.
Yeah.
See, I waited until after the game to Google so I wouldn't like bring any outside knowledge, like the Osenberg list in
Yeah,
Geist.
that's real. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's real. And I had like, okay, that just sounds like something that would be real. But I waited because I didn't want Dana to slip in under Sophie.
Yeah. Yeah, the Elsenberg list is real. The Operation Paperclip was a huge deal. That was
Yeah, Die Glock, the whole thing.
Yeah, the
Just-
Glock is the real thing, that was just, we knew that we wanted a device that was transporting people through time. And I was like, okay, I know the Nazis were doing a lot of weird non-science mysticism bullshit. Like what works in this situation? And I just found like a list of like, here's a bunch of stuff that was Nazi that probably kind of worked, but it didn't.
And probably ruined your search history.
Yes. That's what I kept saying. I was like, this is just slowly ruining my search history for
Men in Black in the bushes outside.
Yeah. Talk to me about having a cat named Isis, and all of my friends are in the military. The number of times I had like Ben and Joseph just texting me being like, the Islamic State is under the TV. The Islamic State has attacked the dog. I'm like, thanks guys. This is great. I'm sure the internet isn't listening to me right now. Good times. Yeah. But my search history has been ruined for decades at this point. But yeah, that was cool.
Oh, and Reverend Tommy, I see your comment there that, Alex's character, Jasper, there was an old man in that Irish adventure that would always pay for his meals at the tavern.
Oh my God.
With gold coins from his pocket. They didn't know where they came from. It's because he had shared his tobacco with the leprechauns. And the leprechauns thereby were keeping him alive and would give him money. Him and his dog.
Didn't give the dog money. Kept the dog alive. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were impossibly old. And but he always had money
like 23.
to pay
He was like over 100. Yeah.
So he always had money to pay for his stuff. And at the end of the adventure, basically to get rid of Crom, they had to ring this giant bell in a church. And the leprechauns, this is what made everybody cry. The leprechauns who they had met at this point showed up and asked them not to, because they knew when he rang the bell that not only would it dissipate the evil spirit of Crom, but also them.
It banishes all the magic.
And it was a Christian church. And so they ring the bell, and the leprechauns turned into fireflies and drifted off. And then they went back to.
They're crying now. You're just describing this.
It gets worse. They then went back to old Tommy's house. The character's name was Tommy. They went back to Tommy's house, and he was dead because their magic was no longer sustaining him, and his dog was dead. Then they went back to the Airbnb where they were staying, and the widow who had been putting them up, she had met them, and one of the leprechauns had promised to dance with her, and she was sitting. The final scene was her sitting on the stoops, crying, saying, "I'm never going to get my dance now, am I?" And that's how I ended it.
Oh,
so
my
mean.
God! Right in the
That's where country
heart.
music comes from.
We don't swerve away from mean stuff. Like Tom has killed children. He had.
And that's out of game.
Yeah. God, I was sincerely impressed with the way you pulled this off, and I do appreciate it. So May is one of our awesome players for for Tom's games for the Gothic horror Victorian stuff. And she's this really awesome Black cosplayer. She's super cool. And Tom had her.
Oh, May Hammer.
Yeah, May Hammer. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, she's super fun. She's way shorter in person than I would have expected.
Yes.
She's super cool, very sprightly, a lot of fun. And Tom had her and Ryan Gelotti, his fight partner, who plays this character called Sinjin. Sinjin St. Louis? Louis. That's it. He's a Canadian lumberjack who's encountered a bunch of real creepy stuff. So he had May and Ryan going through this on a riverboat in the South. and they were attacked by Confederate ghosts. For a particular reason. There was a reason why it was happening, but it was still just like, I can't believe you're about to do this. And Tom handled it just brilliantly with tons of history and facts and like just being like, May, do you need some space for this? Like, let's take this seriously, all that kind of thing. Like, it was just, oh, that was amazing. Oh, well, she's in their Sunday cast as well. So she's doing Savage Moon Sunday with people.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. So she's in my Victorian game. She's very like a calloused and hard character, rough backstory. So they're fighting all these supernatural things. Sinjin joins in later in the series of adventures, and they end up fighting. They're fighting a Lugaru or Rougarou, depending on where you're from. Down in Louisiana, and they managed to dispatch that
werewolf, big scary werewolf, but legacy werewolf.
And then they eventually there is just a regular human who has figured out how to summon the Rougarou back and is trying to, get them to hand over the materials so that he can do it. And Sinjin kills him, but throws the axe at him and kills him. And then Sinjin realizes that this was just a human. He didn't join up to fight humans. He thought he was going to fight and kill monsters. So he was having a crisis of conscience. And May Hemmer, her character, is just like, don't worry, it gets easier. Flash forward to the next adventure they're together. And Ryan again kills he killed an old woman.
Yeah, but she was the one that was summoning the Confederate ghosts to attack the boat. Yeah.
Oh, she earned it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she's just an old woman, and so Sinjin kills her, and then he just turns to May Hemmer's character and goes, "It gets easier, right?" and May was just like, "Oh, what have I done? Oh."
Yeah. But just like all of the stuff that we do, we try to handle it as delicately as possible while still it's grounded in reality. There's bad stuff that happens all the time, and we're just adding a little extra layer of supernatural on a lot of this stuff that's real. And it's not like I want to base like a whole game in like the Confederate South where Black people are being mistreated constantly. Like, that's not fun, but like confronting that reality on occasion is important. And I think it's not something that you should just eliminate from your games because, I only want to live in places where things are great. Like, I get that, but like, you still have to acknowledge that conflict exists.
It's a good reminder that
Alex killed a child.
Yep,
in the one game. The child was part of a witch coven and was hurling icicles, like big long ice spears, at people, summoning them and throwing them at people as part of this witch's coven. And he's like, I got it. And so he shot her and killed her. And he's like, what did you make me do? Like,
but at the
13-year-old girl, why? Yeah.
But at the same time, like in real life, I have a friend who's passed on now. He was South African Special Forces. And, my daughter was a little girl, loved him. He was one of the sweetest people I've ever known. And he would speak so matter-of-factly about some of the things he did that would give me nightmares. Like, this is just, for him, it was just a fact of life. He was trained to do this. This was it. And I was like, well, wow, and that's what I see, like Delta Green. It's like, okay, you're trained to do this. So yeah, it's icky, but
and I don't want my games to ever shy away from that because that's where the true horror lies.
Yeah, that's I think where you can get into like, there's monsters and scary stuff and things like that, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, my favorite moment in doing the last game was you guys fighting the Russians, and I was just like, they're gonna have to kill him. It's Sebastian Stan. He's super hot, but like, you have to kill him. He's a Russian spy. Like, and I was just like, okay, this is going to be a fun moment here, and we'll see where it goes. And like, Katie's character is like flirting with him while about to stab him in the neck. I was like, this is
not me, the other one.
Yeah, sorry,
the other Katie
Hauser, not Katie Bourbon.
I kept shooting him poorly.
Yeah. You got him in the leg at least once. There's a
Oh.
lot of leg shots.
I put him out of his misery a few times.
Didn't his face just get like smeared into the carpet? Oh, someone shot off his jaw, I think.
Yeah, that was
His
me.
lower jaw got taken out completely. So it's just a tongue. And I was like, this is awful. I'm so sorry, Sebastian Stan. I love you. It's awful. I feel real bad.
It's fine.
Just so we're all clear, not actually Sebastian Stan.
Not actually Sebastian Stan. No, it was,
No,
but
it is.
it was a picture. We were like, they look like this, but they're dressed like this. Like, that's my visual.
Mhm.
He got
Somebody's
it fixed
Russian
with the
spies.
residuals from Pam and Tommy.
Hmm?
He got it fixed with the residuals from Pam and Tommy.
Yeah,
Why do we still have this in here?
that's from Christmas episode still.
What the hell?
Forgot
That's
why
an
we-
old Christmas card.
Yeah, that's a
Old
real
German
Christmas
Christmas card.
Thank God
Are
for
those
Coca-Cola.
skates?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's wearing real creepy skates.
Yeah.
Just like the
No.
wound up pieces of iron.
Someone just thought that was a good idea.
No,
Yep.
but look at like any Christmas cards from like turn of the century are horrifying. There's like turkeys with like pumpkins on their heads. Like none of it. Like Coca-Cola came in and was like, "This is what Santa Claus looks like. Let's make up some stories." Because before that, it was just like, "Happy Christmas. Here's a tree making out with an egg." Like.
What is the Christmas song? There's a Christmas song that's that one of the lyrics is sharing ghost stories, or those scary ghost stories.
Yeah,
It's scary ghost stories around the fire.
Yeah,
Of
tales
Christmas
Because
of
long,
ghost
glory.
stories
long
are a big
ago.
part of
Long ago.
Christmas.
What song is that though?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most wonderful time.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did have to fight a Krampus.
Yes, they
that's
did have to fight a
right.
Krampus. That's right.
For Christmas, I had a group. They fought a Krampus, who was legit stealing children and throwing them in a cage to kill them.
Yeah, that's his job.
Mhm.
Why are you gonna like kill a guy for doing his job?
And I seem to recall that Sinjin, Ryan's character, like tried to free them, and like freed one of them. No, maybe it was May. One of them freed one of the characters, freed one of the kids who was imprisoned, and then like said, "Go free the others." And that kid did not. He ran out of that place.
Yeah.
Because he was a 13-year-old kid. He was scared out of his mind, so he just ran.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm out. See ya."
Yeah, I think that was May freed the kid, and then Sinjin that was his redemption arc, was that he was saving children and fighting a demon, and he felt way better after that. Yes,
I can see
exactly.
where that would help. Yeah.
13-year-old in 1910 or whatever it is. What year are you at right now?
1893.
1893. Okay.
I have some little bit of homework to do for the next adventure.
I'm excited. Oh, I can't wait.
There's going to be like a little mini sub adventure first that leads into it. I just need to make sure that my players are all available.
Yes.
If not, I will certainly make another little side questy sort of thing for whatever players I can get if I can't get the people I actually need.
Yeah, we're hoping to have Nazarian's character for the next one, right? To do her own
Yes.
little adventure.
Dr. Sabat.
Dr.
I'm not a
Sabat.
robot.
Yes. Dr. Sabat is one of my favorite characters that I've ever role played with ever. Because she is I think she's based on a real historical woman.
She is.
Armenian and got a doctorate in the 1800s. Was like one of the first women doctors ever.
I want to say from the University of Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah, I thought she was in Penn. Yeah, you're right.
I think so.
Awesome. Pennsylvania represent.
But yeah, so she's been this great character. Lumberjackness, yes. So we'll get to that in a second because I wanted to talk about that too. She's been this great character that is just very sort of cold and not calculating, but just like a medical professional who just thinks of bodies in terms of like pieces and sinews and how it goes together and medical knowledge and stuff. So we've made jokes through this whole thing that she's secretly a robot. But I'm
So the real person, and there's a picture. There's actually a picture online of her. You can look her up. Dr. Tabat.
Tabat. Okay.
Tabat.
Tabat. And she's actually got a doctorate. Along with a number of other women, from Tokyo, one from India. Dr. Tabat was from Syria.
Okay. Yeah. But I think that's the person that she was basing it off of.
How cool.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But Rev Tommy is correct. She only has 4 hit points.
Yeah, she's
Useless.
deliberately frail. She did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Very squishy. If she gets hit,
Philadelphia Medical School is where she went. I'm looking it up over here.
Yeah, and she's a lot of fun. And that she's the only character that we really didn't get a chance to do like a one-off adventure with. So I'm excited to see what she does, because there's specific things that I think that she's going to end up doing that I'm really excited to see.
There are a large number of there are a large number of secrets that have not yet been revealed.
I was like, where are you
characters.
going with this sentence? I'm so glad you made it there. Okay, thank you.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to phrase it without giving anything away.
No,
all of the characters, when they made up their characters, I say for my Victorian game, they all have a dark secret. All of them. They were allowed to pick your own, and you've gotten some of that from some of the characters. Like, that May's character has a shady past of some kind. You don't know exactly what it was, but something happened. Arthur's character, Cormac, he
came right out and said it at one point. He
killed a man in a boxing ring, kind of on purpose. They all have something that they have done that's kind of in their shady past. St. John has something, and Dr. Sabat has something, which I have not. They have not revealed. That hasn't come out yet, but it will come out. And as Rev Tommy just pointed out, May keeps changing her name. There's a reason she has a different name every time. She's kind of on the lam, and there's a reason for that. And it will likely come out in our next adventure.
Yeah.
Probably all of their secrets will come out in the next adventure, of the ones that haven't already been revealed.
Yes.
So
secrets everywhere. Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just love that as like an improv tool. I know Tommy, we played that once with just like, you just had like, I just give you a dark secret and you don't have to talk about it. You can talk about it. You don't have to. And like it's a fun exercise. Like, it's just so rich. Just some subtext. I don't know.
Yeah, and it informs the character's decisions. That might be something that you don't normally, like your character does something that you would not normally do, and doesn't make sense. But in the context of their dark secret, suddenly it does make sense. So
I don't think that he's not actually English. He's
no, he's got something. And
I don't know what his is. I'm curious.
He's been alluding to it, never directly, but he has alluded to it a couple of times, that he's made kind of throwaway statements about things, that he's skirted around the edge of it. Keep it weird.
Actually, this was a gift from a friend.
Oh, that's fun.
Hey, an anglerfish.
Anglerfish. I love deep sea critters. Critters?
Critters.
I love the critters.
Love those critters.
So we've been talking a lot about our experiences with the game and all that stuff. Why don't we ask our viewing public if they have any questions or any comments about the games thus far, anything that they were curious about, like, hey, why did this happen in this game, or what's the story behind X, Y, or Z from this game? So if you've got it, just throw it in the chat, because I'm curious to know, now that most of these games have wrapped up,
Yeah.
you know, we can reveal the secrets that maybe like, oh, that's why this character did this, or that's why the bad guy was doing something else.
Yeah.
That's why our handler Z. I had a question about the most recent one and the room of limbs that we couldn't get into.
Yes.
What were the limbs? Was that a botched teleportation?
Yeah, that the third person hadn't been able to get the device to work, so then he got splinched, basically.
Yeah, to use Harry Potter parlance, he was splinched.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to think of it in terms of like the Philadelphia experiment, but not ship sized. So it's a box that's transporting people. But I mean, my favorite part about that legend is that supposedly the ship traveled from one place to another, and then when it came back into Philadelphia, people were fused to parts of the ship. That was part of the thing, that people who had gotten through it, some of them had survived, some of them just immediately died, some of them had gone insane, and then there were like people that were like in like parts of the ship that aren't accessible, and there were people that were like halfway in the ceiling and
like
the floor.
Davy Jones style.
Yeah.
Yeah, like is the ship them or are they the ship?
Right,
kind of a thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's in my mind, that's what I was kind of thinking, that when teleportation goes wrong, it looks like that. So that was the first guy got splinched, the second guy refused to do it and he got shot, and then the third guy also got splinched, and had recently that had happened like just before you guys were there, within like the last couple of hours.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I wasn't sure if there
Edmund's
was
asking more generalized. When I play, there's always at least one who will rules lawyer and min max. Would you rather have a powerful character or have one that is weaker but is more story driven? I always lean more towards story driven, but some players really like to mess around with numbers, and it becomes almost like an equation they're trying to solve. And so for those players, I try to give them moments in a game where that is something, but also then to balance it out with story for everybody else. So it's like I will tailor adventure, like particular sessions or adventures, to highlight something from different characters. And if some character hasn't had, has been overshadowed because there is a min-max player, I try to find something then that I can give to them that only they can solve via their storytelling, as opposed to just number crunching. Because I never like to just shut somebody down for min-maxing, but I do want other players to have a thing to do. I was running a Pathfinder game for Handler Z and some of our friends, and one of those friends became very good at figuring out how to make his AC ridiculously high.
Oh yeah, yep. I don't know.
It was absurd. Nothing could touch him. And so he would just get in front and nothing could hurt him.
Yeah.
And nothing was a challenge anymore. And then I remembered, oh yeah, breath weapons, area of effect. Your AC means nothing to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that all the time because I didn't want him to feel disempowered, but just to give the other players a chance to have to work things out.
Or he would send like 80, or not 80, like 20 of the same, like a 20 of a lower level thing. So there's no crucial bad guy that our lead player is focusing on. Like there's no like, ooh, there's a lich here and I have to focus on that lich. Like there's just 20 skeletons in the room. So all of us who have lesser levels of things can actually take effect to these skeletons. And then, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily, like him being overpowered doesn't necessarily do anything for 20 guys. Like you can't take out all 20 guys by yourself. You just can't. So the other players have to be able to do something about it.
Yeah. So dead meat again. I would. A game master should try to balance it out, and it takes a while to figure it out.
Well, I will say, for these particular campaigns, for the things that we're doing out here, because we are in the auspices of performing it. So I asked Katie and Dana when they signed on to do this, like, you guys are going to be doing this in the 1970s. We should wear costumes that are appropriate for the 1970s. We should perform this within the realms of the, yes, exactly. So that's a little bit different. I feel like doing it in this regard, everyone walks into this knowing that this is somewhat of a performance, that what you're doing is performing a character. So you're almost all the time, you get people that are more character than fight, almost to the detriment of the game at times. Like, I mean, when Dana's first campaign doing the Lateralis, where everybody was just getting eaten.
I don't think it's a detriment at all. I think players failing is actually a good thing, because then they learn how to cope with the failures.
Yeah.
Which are
Well,
just
and it is
I was
a
gonna
horror
say-
game. Like, people are dying.
As I say, as a player, like, I really appreciate that Gloom Master has a way to address these power players, because as a player, I really don't like playing with someone like that. They're always
So,
gonna
and
win, and it's kind of like, well, why am I here?
so yeah, Dead Meat. I would maybe talk to your DM and say, and in a nice uh, private sort of chat, just be like, hey, I feel like I don't really have a chance to do a whole lot.
Mhm.
And let them know. They don't know unless you tell them that I feel like my character isn't doing too much because I'm being overshadowed by this other character. And if they're a good game master, hopefully they will listen to you and then add things, not necessarily take away from the other guy, but add things that you get to do. But really, I love when my players will come up to me and express concerns like that. Like, hey, I feel like my character isn't really doing anything, and I expect these things, and I don't feel like I ever get a chance to use it. And then a good game master will listen to that
And be like, aha,
and then
yes.
start to incorporate things for that character, not making the whole campaign about that character or anything, but give them things that only they can do, so that they feel included.
I'm still mad at you about that room that we played in the one time where, so we played a Pathfinder campaign. This is still ongoing, isn't it? With
Sure is.
so we went into a dungeon that had been cleared out by a blob, an ooze. There was an ooze that had been in the dungeon for like a century. And I was so mad. I'm looking at every single like detail of this place. And I was like, why is this? It's a temple, but there's nothing in it. Like, why aren't there any chairs or books or furniture or skeletons or anything? There's nothing in here. Why are we here? Like, I'm looking at like the walls to see if there's anything carved on it. And he was just like, yeah, the ooze ate everything. And I was like, no, it didn't. There must be something left. And I was like so upset that this ooze had over the centuries just slowly absorbed everything in the entire dungeon. I was so mad.
Gelatinous cube.
Yes, the freaking gelatinous cube, man.
Cube.
That stuff. See, and that's I gotta, every once in a while I hear these cool ideas of like, oh man, that would be a great Delta Green campaign. And I'm like, I just always immediately start thinking about like, oh my God, what if I had a Delta Green gelatinous cube? How would that work? What's that going to be like? Yeah, like I'm just trying to come up with like, what could I do that would be very fun?
How can I torture my friends?
Yes. There are some things that I've like, I mean, I listen to a lot of true crime and stuff, and there are some things that I've come across that I'm like, I know I want to do a campaign about this, but I can't do it yet. Like, I have a game that a different game that I want to set in the 70s that is very specific to a true crime event, and I want to do it really well. But I have to have enough research and enough like time to figure it out. So I'm just keeping that one on the back burner for a while. But like Lateralis to me was this culmination of all these different things that I'm interested in, like video games and true crime. And I created a murderer and a murder mystery to solve, and adding in all of this other stuff, like throwing in the Fibonacci sequence in it. I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to pick up on all of this, but all of this makes this great bridge work that goes together to make this game really cool. And no matter if you feel that you catch all of those moments, I feel like I was just so proud of myself for putting something that intricate together. that it functioned well. I'm still very proud of that game.
Going back to Dead Meat again. You're saying about not, multi-classing characters and stuff like that. I, when I make a character, I never am really planning for down the line what level my character is going to be. I'm more worried about having fun in the moment. And then when it comes time to level up, I'm like, oh, that's right. I get more stuff. I don't know what to. I don't know.
I'm curious about something. Because I think of myself when I play a game, I am almost always school. I'm almost always a not a chaotic character, but a character that's trying to do something unexpected. So, like, I'm playing a Starfinder campaign right now with my best friends, and I am a guy that's he is an Asian pilot that is totally based on Sulu, but also based on Gene from the Try Guys. So, if you stuck those two people together and made one dude as a very sassy gay Asian pilot, I'm super thrilled with everything that he does. He's an android. But I always find the outside of the box level of stuff. So instead of just fighting some dudes with a gun, like I'll be like, hey, I'm really good at piloting. Is there a vehicle anywhere nearby that I can just run into people? Like I do that constantly. So I'm always not a chaos agent, but I'm always not going to do what people are predicting. And then over time, my game master has been really good at coming up with, that's how I'm going to deal with that. It's just, I'm prepared for you to just go off the walls and whatever item you randomly have on your person at the time, you're going to end up using. I'm curious about everybody else here, what you are into. And then I know that Katie has to drop out in a bit. So she had a couple of song suggestions, Gloom Master, that I think might be kind of fun if we were
all right.
But I'd love to hear what everybody else, like, what do you think of yourself as a character? What kind of stuff do you usually play?
It's interesting. I seem to find myself playing more of the straight man, more of the responsible one. Doesn't always manage to do what they plan on getting done. Things will go wrong, but has like, this is what I want to do. I have these good intentions. Even when I try to play a different type of character, it seems to drift back to that. So now I'm trying to actually get away from that. That's something I want to do. Like, I want to play a character that's entirely different. And it's even funny, like some of the stage roles I've done, they have been the straight man. Like, no, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little bit of a struggle for me because I feel like, I'm seriously typecasting myself. And this is my own fault because I'm developing the damn character. What about you, Katie?
I try to play something different every time. Just like to see what I like. Because I haven't been like role play gaming for very long. But I know I always try to like play a strong character because I don't feel strong in real life. So yeah, like if I can play a character that's like, big and tough and punching people in the face and blowing through walls, like cool.
Interesting.
I'm curious to see what Gloom Master is going to say now, because
I try to mix it up. I
you
try
play
to do
some weird stuff.
well, yeah, again, because I go for story over like character class or anything like that. So I normally come up with a story idea for the character first, and then make the character after that.
Yeah.
So like I'll be like, okay, well, like in my current game that I'm running, not that I'm running, that I'm playing in, I'm playing a Pathfinder Adventure Path, Iron Gods, and I started with the premise of, all right, it's a woman character who is out for revenge against the Technic League, which is an organization in the Iron Gods Pathfinder campaign. And then I went from there. I'm like, okay, well, why? And then I went from that to go, why does she hate the Technic League? And then I created her backstory on that. okay, well, what character class would she be that would put her in that situation? And I just built it from there. And that's what I'll do with most of my characters. I'll just go, how do they fit into? Because normally when I'm talking to whoever's running a game that I'm playing in, I go, what kind of game is it going to be? Is this going to be a high fantasy? We're off to save the person in distress from the monster kind of thing. Well, then I'm going to play a different character. Then this is a political intrigue campaign. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm gonna. Okay, what kind of interesting character would be for me for that? So I like to figure out story first, character stats later.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, the cat.
Buttholes in the stream. That is what we want.
Buttholes in the
Just
stream.
waiting for it.
Nothing in between.
No, you can't force it. You can't force it.
I tried to force it. It didn't work.
Don't force it. Don't force it.
Buttholes in the stream
look at
have
her
to be
little
natural.
slurs. Oh, my beautiful girl.
Do you
She
want to put
blends
your
in with
butthole
my
in the
coat.
stream?
She's made of Vanta black. It's great.
So Katie, I know you have to leave soon.
Yeah.
And you wanted for those of you who are new, Dead Meat in particular, when we have these adventure scenarios, I'm a voiceover artist. I do audiobooks, that sort of thing. So I will do a creepy song lyrics. I will read the lyrics in an overly dramatic, think Vincent Price-esque fashion. Of like pop songs or classic rock songs or whatever. So, what, Katie, since you have to leave, I'll do one right now, real quick, and then we'll do more later. What do you want to hear, Katie?
I mean, I gave you a smattering of stuff that popped in my head. So, a dealer's choice.
Well, give me one. Tell me.
Let's see.
And anybody else, you can throw them in the comments if there's a particular song you want to hear. I will tell you that if it's not a creepy song initially, it's better if I then read it creepily. So,
Yeah, I feel like I used to love her from Guns N' Roses is going to be a little bit too on the nose.
Obvious.
Yeah,
that's too
I was
obvious.
just you putting that just in the chat again now, Katie. I think that's exactly what I was hoping you would want.
I mean,
oh wait, hang on.
I think this will be a challenge to you.
All right, let me find it.
But you know,
Now, no one else
Making
knows what
sure
this is,
you're
so,
highlighted
maybe
here,
somebody
Tom.
wants to tell them.
you are the pro, so
Yes.
I'm sure it won't be that big of a challenge.
All right, let me see if there's.
I have to duck my own logo to see this. This is great.
All right, I got it. Here we go.
You got it?
Yeah. So Katie has requested the Animaniacs theme song in a creepy way. So let's see. Oh God, I haven't even looked at this song in forever. I've never looked at it.
I can't wait for this to sound just to be evil. This is gonna be great. Okay, here we go. You can do it.
Doesn't ruin
I can do it. All right, here we go. The Animaniacs. It's time for Animaniacs. We're zany to the max. So just sit back and relax. You'll laugh till you collapse. We're Animaniacs. Come, join the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister Dot. Just for fun, we run around the Warner movie lot. They lock us in the tower whenever we get caught. But we break loose, and then vamoose. And now you know the plot. We're Animaniacs. Dot is cute, and Yakko yaks. Wacko packs away the snacks, while Bill Clinton plays the sax. We're Animaniacs. Meet Pinky and the Brain, who want to rule the universe. Good feathers flock together. Slappy whacks 'em with her purse. Button chases Mindy while Greta sings a verse. The writer's flipped. We have no script. Why bother to rehearse? We're animaniacs. We have play for play contracts. We're zany to the max. There's baloney in our slacks. We're animani. Totally and zany. Here's the show's namey. Animaniacs. Those are the facts. There you go.
Yay! Oh, I love it when he does this.
It's everything I hope
love it.
for and more.
That was yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's Animaniacs.
And I think that was my lullaby. It's going to double as
That's
my
a good
lullaby.
lullaby.
Have you there was one, and it just kind of like worked that Animaniacs had come back on Hulu,
Yes.
but around this time last year, well, a month ago, last year, a month ago, they had a clip from one of the people from January 6th,
Oh no.
the Onion Girl. And it was like, we're Animani, totally insane. They pushed me out and maced me. Animaniac, those are the facts. And she goes, "Ah."
That's oh my god. Oh my god.
I watched that many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, have a wonderful show. I'm
Thanks
off.
so much.
Always had fun gaming with you. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Before you go, is there anything you want to promote real quick? I don't know if you feel like it.
If you still have the thing up for Gibson's school, if anyone has like some spare bucks, just a really smart kid. He's like gonna be like the next wild, awesome inventor, and he's like we're pretty much like staring down what could be like a launch pad for him.
Awesome.
But like it's the summer school across the country, and summer school like they don't have financial aid for the summer school, so it's like we all pitch in a little bit.
Hey, Lucy, do you got that to throw that up there?
No, I can't find it. I thought it was on other stuff, but
Okay, yeah, it's I don't remember it, but it's on my Facebook.
Okay.
If you're Facebook friends with me, or I can send it along. But yeah, it's one of those like maybe he'll become an evil genius. I don't know. I'm gonna get on his good side now. But
It's always good. Good
yeah.
plan.
And then there's improv in the greater Trenton area is going to be having big announcements soon. So if you don't follow that on Facebook yet, please do so you can be part of those. You can know if you know. Announcements coming. And and dog butt.
Dog butt and the scream. It worked. It happened.
It happened.
I feel fulfilled now.
Oh, good.
Good job, Sasha.
Love you all, and I'm out.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Handler Z, Sally A has mentioned that she put some
Yes.
stuff in the Discord.
Yeah,
And,
that was the one that I had mentioned to you before.
Well, you have to tell me again because I did not write it down.
It was the Ronettes.
Oh, Be My Little Baby.
I think so. Let me double
Oh,
check.
that would be a good one.
Yeah, Be My Baby by the Ronettes.
By
Which
the
is-
Ronettes, Be My Baby.
Be My Baby.
Who?
Is it good? Is it going to pass the litmus test of creepy things that you can possibly say out loud?
There's a bunch of repetition in it, so I'll cut out some of the repetition.
Yeah.
Just otherwise it's just me saying the same thing. So it's going to be a little short because especially at the end, it's just all over and over again. So all right, Be My Baby by the Ronettes. Let me do it. Man, let me think of how I want to do it. I'll do it as a creepy stalker. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah. The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had a chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make 'em turn their heads every place we go. So won't you, please, be my, be my baby? Be my little baby, my one and only baby. Oh, say you'll be my darling. Be my baby. Be my baby now, my one and only baby. Oh, I'll make you happy, baby. Just wait and see. For every kiss you give me, I'll give you 3. Oh, since the day I saw you, I have been waiting for you. You know I will adore you till eternity. So won't you please be my be my baby? Be my little baby, my one and only baby. Say you'll be my darling. Be my little baby. Be my baby now, my one and only baby. Yes, come on. And please be my baby. There you go.
So creepy.
It's all of this stuff in between. It's like, yes, like, oh God, why?
And the
Why do you add that?
face.
Yes,
My God, the face.
I've had fans like that. I have. They're
Oh.
well-meaning people that just don't understand boundaries. Just thanks. I'm so
Hey, honey,
glad you
keep in
like my
mind you
show.
married me. So
No. You're fine. You're an actor. I get it, but oh my God. Yeah. No,
oh, let me look up
there have been people that have done things like that. And I'm like, do you know how creepy you sound? That's like I went to with Aileen, I went to a Pinter play. God, what was it? Not the staircase. What am I thinking of? It's the one about like divorce or something. And Tom Hiddleston was in it. And he's one of my absolute favorite actors. He's a really great person. I've seen like video of people meeting him, and he's always very gracious and super sweet. We got to the end of the show, and I was like, I actually didn't like the show all that much. I thought that all the actors were really great, but I was just like, this is really over the top. Like maybe it was revolutionary at the time, but it's not that good. And we finished the show, and Aileen's like, do you want to go meet him? Do you want to go to the stage door and wait for him? And I was like, I kind of don't want to just like hang out in a cold New York alley for 2 hours hoping that this guy walks out while he's going to his car. Like that feels weird. I would love to be his friend somewhere down the line in the next 20 years. Maybe I'll write a book and I'll be super famous. I wrote a book, but maybe I'll write more books and I'll be super famous, or, something that I've written will get adapted into something, or I don't know, he'll show up at a Ren Fair, whatever. It'd be really nice to meet him on my own terms, but I don't want to meet him as like hey, I'm a super fan and I love you and I literally got these for Christmas. Like,
So here's something that I've learned, because I spent almost 20 years working in the entertainment industry on the other side in production, working with these people.
See, that's cool. I didn't know that part.
Let's put it this way. Dave Matthews gave my daughter her first taste of sushi.
Wow.
Okay,
Nice.
so that's who we're, yeah. Oh, I've got stories. I could tell you things about people I've worked with. Super fans are talked about, and they're not really appreciated for the most part.
Yeah.
It's not for all the people that I have worked with, and I can throw out some huge industry names. I have no autographs because that's just creepy, and that's how it's looked at by most people. Unless they're doing it and it's like you're paying for the privilege to do it. Cool, it's
Yeah,
just
I
like a
signed up for this.
transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when people are like hanging out by the stage door, I don't know too many that I've talked to who think that's, oh, how neat. People are waiting for me. They're like, do you think they're gone yet?
Yeah. I mean, like, and I've had the privilege of some of our super fans with Chase Treasure have translated, like Tommy Abbott has been an awesome person to work with, who's gotten to like hang out with us and be cool. And like, we got to know them. Some of our other fans that have been fans of Chase Treasure for a really long time, like the Rojas's or like the Brazons, like I've gotten to know them as human beings, but they were always like, hey, is it cool if I talk to you for a minute? Like, let's hang out for a minute. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like,
Yeah,
they've
but
always
it's
kind of done
different.
it
They're
the way
not
I'm
like stalking and waiting for you to so they can
Yes.
pounce. You know, there's a huge difference, I think, between the two types.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a, and it's weird because sometimes I'll mess it up, that I'll think that one person is one thing and then they end up being something else. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
why did I do this? Why did I invite this person in? Like, sometimes people will find me, especially because me, Aileen, and Eleanor are very intricately entwined in social media for Chase Treasure, because we
Mhm.
do a lot of the stuff with that. And I'm the contact person for every contract that we have. So like, people associate me with my business and they'll contact me sometimes. And sometimes it's like with good intentions. And then they'll start to, when I used to work at a company that did breast cancer stuff, they used to call it launching, where someone would talk about their experience with breast cancer and go into very intricate, intimate details about
Mhm.
their experiences with life. And it's hard, but that's when you put together a company for breast cancer outreach and research, you expect that to happen and you have counselors on hand. But I don't sign up for that when someone privately contacts me about that. Oh, hi, I love
Right.
you. Um, so yeah, it can be a little over the top at times to have people like that are suddenly like reaching out to me. Or what's worse, this is the worst, and none of you out, as far as I know, in the comments have done this to me, but there have been people who have contacted me that are trying to find the contact information for other people in my group. And they're like, hey, can you give me the information for this girl? And I'm like, no, that's creepy. No, I'm not going to give you her private number. No, why would
That's
you want to do
something
that?
I worry a lot about. Recently, someone posted like, "Hey, I'm trying to find a Ren Fair performer to talk on this particular podcast," without
Yes, yes,
saying
yes,
the
yes.
podcast, and people started linking people's personal Facebook pages, and that to me is a huge concern. Like, you don't want to put people, if you're going to do their professional ones,
Yeah, like,
awesome. That's
hey,
what they're
promote
out there
my
for. But
business. Or if
please
you want
protect
to do
the.
that yourself, of like, like Aileen reached out to that person and said, hey, I'm available. Would you like to talk to me? Like, you are putting your own information out there at that point. That's your choice. So that's fine. But yeah, I
And I
can't do
admit,
that for you.
I go mama bear. I go mama bear, especially with the performers that I work with. I'm not a child anymore. I'm not young and cute. So I've gone into the whole like, okay, these are the people that I'm going to make sure that you don't get to,
Yeah.
because I've seen it too often where people will be stalked, and it's just, um, we have so many awesome fans. There are so many amazing people that are out there, so many wonderful people, and even just at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair that we really appreciate. You just got to be careful about those, like, 1% that
Yeah.
decides that they're just going to stalk you.
Yeah. Tom, I want you to do other songs, but now that I know things about Dana, I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there, without having to give away like names or anything, is there like a moment that you had in that earlier part of your career where you were like, what am I doing? Why this person is so Hollywood, or this person is so above themselves, or like this was a wild experience? Like, I've just always heard the stories about like when Mick Jagger walks onto a set, he'll snap his fingers and say Diet Coke, and someone just runs up with a Diet Coke all the time because that's
That
his
happens a
flavor, that's his thing.
lot. That
Yeah.
happens a lot. I
Okay.
will say that some of the people that you think would be really out there are not. Um, like, all right, my daughters played basketball with Motley Crue. All right.
That's cool. I love them. I got to
Okay.
see them in concert once,
She
and
was
they're
just a little
amazing.
girl, just a little bitty bit of a thing. I will
Were they
not
all on cocaine
name.
at the time? I'm just curious.
What's it?
Were they all on cocaine at the time? I'm
I
just
wasn't
curious.
asking.
Okay.
There was a performer who, and this sticks out to me. Like, I can tell you stories about some really awesome people. Reba McEntire she really is a sweetheart. But there was a country performer, and he threw a hissy fit. I watched this grown man throw a hissy fit because the car that they sent for him was too small. He wanted something more luxurious. Um, And I just remember looking at that guy and thinking, like, you know what, dude? Um, you're okay, but you're really not as special as you seem to think you are.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, he's got the fans. Going forward today, I don't even know if he's like a known name any longer, but he was at the time. We're going back to the early
I just said it
90s.
that Sir David and
Yep.
Sally Ye have
Yeah,
also done
Meatloaf
that
was
too.
also really awesome too. Meatloaf's show was fun because he drew so much power. We watched the Transformer just like I've never seen a Transformer rock because of the power draw before. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
But I just remember thinking like I know you think you're special, but one of the benefits my daughter had growing up in the industry was that sorry, the dogs are
I'm very excited about the drama going on behind you.
Roll for initiative. Roll for initiative, dogs.
Fenrir thinks he's in charge and it's not. It's really Seshet. What I was saying is that like my daughter growing up in this industry, she never learned to be in awe of any of these people.
Yeah, that they're just
They're
normal
just
folk.
people.
Yeah,
They just happen to get there after production does, and they get to leave before the rest of us.
yeah. I mean, what it is for me about people like there's like a balance of it. So there's people like Tom Hiddleston that I just have a talent crush on. I think that he's super talented. I love his performing style. I think it's amazing. And then there are people that are like Trent Reznor, which is a whole other level. And that's where I feel like I would be really starstruck because I clung to music from Nine Inch Nails when I was a kid to get me through hard times. And since then he's gone on to win like Oscars. Like he's such an amazing artist and he's never let me down. And it's so funny because I feel the same way sometimes about Marcus Harris, and I keep forgetting to text him to be like, "Hey, do you want to hang out this weekend?" But
Aw.
like, I grew up. I have pictures with my favorite knight. For those of you who don't know, my favorite knight who jousts at Ren fairs. His name is Marcus. He's amazing. He's a super cool dude. He helped us move into our house, and he's been my fair dad since I was a kid. Like he was what I wanted to be when I grew up. Was I wanted to be him, and to get to hang out with him, and that he's such a cool person. And he's super down to earth, and he's like a great human being. Having those moments of my hero didn't let me down is really awesome. So there's like levels of stuff, but
It's so awesome when they actually are good people. The
yeah,
people you really admire turn out to really be those good people.
yeah. Sir David, you're gonna have to tell me about when you met Trent Reznor at some point. He's from Mercer County in Pennsylvania. I need to talk to him about some Fosnauts at some point. That's that's my moment where I'm like, hey, Trent Reznor, I brought you some Lancaster donuts. Would you like them? Like, I feel, I feel like it's a whole thing. I want to. What is this? Monroe Max
Oh,
says,
yes, I give a help to the brown dog.
I want to give a help to the brown dog.
Spend your Twitch points to the brown dog. Spend your Twitch points.
Spend your Twitch points as the battle royale occurs behind Dana.
So I tell people I never worry about the house being broken into. The big one is a German Shepherd Black Lab mix, and the little one is a pit bull.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what they do all day. Sorry about the noise.
No, I took my dog to Philly with my best friends so that he could run around like that because he doesn't have any dog friends out here. He's very selective about the dogs that he hangs out with. He's not super dog friendly. So I keep wanting to introduce him to dogs in the neighborhood, but not all of them in my neighborhood are super well behaved. So I need to find him some dog friends that are local that are super cool. But he does that all the time with his buddies, that he'll just attack them and eat their stuff and then lay on the bed.
Yep.
That's where he is right now. He's laying on my bed.
Yeah, last night when I went to bed, the two of them were on the couch, and Fenrir just had his chin on Seshet's back, and they were sound asleep.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So I had a request.
Yes. Okay.
For the Killer's Mr. Brightside.
Oh my God. Oh, I have memories of this song from when I used to sing this in a cover band. Oh my God. Okay. It's going to take me back.
All right. So Mr. Brightside by the Killers. All right. Let's see. Coming out of my cage And I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down. Because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag and now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick. It's all in my head, but she's touching his chest now. And he takes off her dress now. Let me go. And I just can't look. It's killing me. They're taking control. Jealousy, turning saints into the sea, swimming through sick lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I'm Mr. Brightside. I'm coming out of my cage, and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Oh, no, now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag and they're going to bed and my stomach feels sick. And it's all in my head. But she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now. Let me go! 'Cause I just can't look. It's killing me. They're taking control. Oh. Jealousy, turning saints into the sea, swimming through sick lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I'm Mr. Brightside. I never. There you go.
Yay!
Damn. Oh,
Little moments like that every once in a while. I'm like, man, that is actually a very well written song. Like lyrically, like I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, lyrically, that's a great
really good.
song.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Very dramatic. I feel bad for the person whose house you're living in right now. To get to
I
deal
warned
with
him.
that.
I warned him.
Okay. You're going to be loudly, dramatically talking to the song.
I told him that's how I traditionally end. So if he heard me yelling strange song lyrics in here, not to be concerned. Oh boy, but I think that pretty much does me in for the night.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I can do one more.
You should do one for Dana, who's been here the whole time. So
All right, Dana.
you had a couple of private chat comments.
yeah. Let's go with a groovy kind of love if you can.
Ooh.
By Phil Collins.
Yeah.
I love Phil Collins. I got to see Genesis live with my mom. This was one of my favorite things.
Ooh.
My mom is very conservative and she's it was so funny. We go to this Genesis concert. I really like Genesis. My dad kind of got me into them when I was a kid. So I'm like 8 years old and I'm driving around listening to like Genesis and like that was
Post Peter Gabriel Genesis though.
No, not Peter Gabriel Genesis. This is all Phil Collins. So this is getting into the I Can't Dance and studio stuff,
Good
like
stuff.
That. Much more poppy, a little more accessible. But yeah, so we go to the concert and this is like maybe 10 years ago. So I'm in my early 20s and my mom's in her 50s. We get into this concert at Hershey Arena and we start smelling marijuana. And she's like, oh, I can't believe someone would smoke at this concert. And it's literally women her age who are sitting like 2 rows down from us that are just smoking joints and passing them back and forth. And I'm looking at her like, Mom, those are your people. You can't be all like, these days. Those are 50-year-old women that are smoking pot right now.
50-year-old women are just saying.
It was a
Just
Genesis concert. Of course they're going to smoke pot, but it was just so funny. And she's like, I just can't believe someone would smoke in here. And I'm like, Mom, it's people your age. Like, what are you thinking? It's a Genesis concert. So funny. But one of my favorite things, briefly, like 10 years ago, Dead Meat, like 10 years ago. So one of my favorite things, briefly, about that was that Phil Collins came out with the drummer. So it was him singing most of the songs, and then he also played and sang a couple of tunes. But him and their tour drummer came out, and they just had a practice pad. So it's one of those octagonal pads that you use when you're practicing snare drum stuff. And they did a tight shot of him and the drummer, who was this black guy who was probably in his 40s, just playing practice pad stuff, just 2 sticks and a practice pad. And they were doing all of that real showy stuff from like snare drum, like twirl the stick and like just really, really technical, fascinating stuff. And it's just them and a snare head, and that's it. And it was the coolest thing. They did that for like 10 minutes of just them playing on a practice pad. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was just
that, so you can tell they're good.
Yeah. Because I knew he was a really good drummer. Like, I've heard it from early Genesis stuff that I eventually listened to, but like I didn't know he was that good. And then watching them do their practice stuff was amazing. So okay. Groovy Kind of Love.
Groovy Kind of Love by Phil. This is Phil Collins solo.
Phil Collins solo. Okay.
This is maybe it's German this time, just because. Why not?
Yes, this is going to be so good. I love it when he brings out the accent.
Very good. When I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is take a look at you. Then I'm not so blue. When you're close to me, I can feel your heartbeat. I can hear you breathing in my ear. Wouldn't you agree? Baby, you and me got a groovy kind of love. So anytime you want to, you can turn me into anything you want to. Anytime at all. Then I kiss your lips. Ooh, I start to shiver. Can't control the quivering inside. Wouldn't you agree? Baby, you and me got a groovy kind of love. Then I'm feeling blue. All I have to do is take a look at you. Then I'm not so blue. When I'm in your arms, nothing seems to matter. My whole world could shatter. I don't care. Wouldn't you agree, baby? You and me got a groovy kind of love. Oh, we got a groovy kind of love. We got a groovy kind of love.
You can rip Tommy's comment.
Just me hanging out in the kitchen, slowly torturing somebody. Just, baby, you and me, it's got a groovy.
We've got a groovy kind of love, Fräulein.
Oh, God.
I feel like unhinged bad guys should do more dramatic singing like that. Like, I've seen moments like that in movies every once in a while, and I'm like, that's good. Like in American Psycho, when he has the like, do you like Huey Lewis in the news? And I'm like, this is so good. Such good stuff. Okay. We are almost at the end of our broadcast, so we'll probably just end it a little bit early. But we should probably still go back and thank all of our sponsors and also thank Dana for coming in. Dana, take a moment if you would like, and if there's anything you would like to promote, or things coming up that you want to talk about, go for it.
Well, right now, really with Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, anyone interested in becoming a member of the semi-professional cast, we have auditions coming up this Sunday. contact me. I'm here, or you can reach me on Facebook, or check out the website to schedule a time. And for the professional cast, we are auditioning in Philadelphia next weekend, the Saturday and Sunday. Contact us and set up some time. That's about it right now. Working on other stuff, but I will keep you informed.
And for those who have joined us late, this has been our intermission session between games. Coming up, hopefully next week, we'll post it on the Discord and on our various Facebooks, provided I get the players lined up for it. I'm going to be returning to our chill game, our late Victorian horror game. Set in the 1890s. We're going to get back to that. It's a pretty dark Gothic horror that we'll be exploring there. Coming up for the next several weeks, I've got a story arc planned that will probably be 5 or 6 weeks long total. So be sure to
this is going to
come
be
on
really
back
good.
next week. We'll
I'm
get
so excited.
rolling with that. My real name is Tom Zadoyko. I'm an actor, a voiceover artist. You can find me on Audible. I got 16 titles up there now, including Dare by Handler Z, who's also Melissa Lee. That's my wife. She writes
there in the big.
She writes short stories of horror and science fiction and dark romance, and then I narrate them. We have that over on Patreon. You can see across the scroll at the bottom, Quill and Quote. Go ahead and join Patreon. You'll receive stories that she has written, and then I will, when I'm finally somewhere where I can do it safely, I will narrate them as well.
Yeah,
I'm a little behind. I'm catching up slowly, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I've been really happy with doing a lot of the stuff with Patreon, and you can also find us. I need to make a ticker for this, but you can also find us on Instagram as well at quill_and_quote on Instagram. I weekly post a clip, not a clip, but a snippet of something that I'm working on, just to continue to pique people's interest. My favorite thing to do right now with the Patreon is to give them like a early preview of things that I'm currently working on. Like right now, I'm unabashedly working on a fan fiction that I was like, you know what, this will never get published anywhere else. I might as well do this for fun. So I'm working on a fan fiction that will be exchanged with another fan fiction artist. So I'm looking forward to just putting that out there. But yeah, it's fun stuff.
Handler Z, what if wanted to talk to us about the publishing side of things?
Yeah.
What would be the best way to direct message
Probably
us?
find me on Discord. If you can get onto the Discord, you can private message me on there. That'd be the easiest thing to do. Or you can find us on Quill and Quote. If you find us at Quill_and_quote on Instagram, you could do that too. But yeah, the easiest way would probably just to reach me on the Discord for Nat21. I'm on there as Mel Z. I'm pretty obvious. So you can find me on there, and yeah, feel free to ask me questions. I self-published through Amazon. I haven't sold a heck of a lot of stuff, but I'm really proud of the work that we did. And apparently we're coming up on a book anniversary. March 15th was the day that we officially released the book last year. So I'm about to come up on our book anniversary, and maybe we'll do something special with it.
Yep, you can find the book on Amazon, get a paperback copy, or Audible. You can find it there. It's called Dare. So it's still available for sale.
Yep.
Additionally, I also do a sword fighting show on the road, and Melissa does Chase Treasure.
Yes, I forgot. Group. This is important. I apologize. We do have a show tomorrow. So Chase Treasure is having our online Valentine's Day show with a couple of the ladies that you don't normally get to hang out with. So that would be Lady Lucrezia from the West Coast, Lady Arabella, who is currently getting a science master's degree, and I believe Lady Gwendolyn. who is going to be joining me down in Florida. So super excited to have them doing a Valentine's Day show. And they have a special offer. I don't remember what the specifics are, but I know for like $25, you can get like a handwritten letter. And then for like $50, you get one with like a lipstick kiss on it that's specifically written to you. They have details. We have details on our social media. So check those out. Chase Treasure on Facebook, on Instagram, and it'll be on YouTube tomorrow. So feel free to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern for that show.
And Chase Treasure will be live down here. I am currently in the Fort Lauderdale area doing the Florida Renaissance Festival with my pirate sword fighting show, Buckle and Swash. So if you find yourself in South Florida now through March 20th, you can find Buckle and Swash there. We're also on the Facebook. You can find us there too to get more details. Buckle and Swash show. And then Chase Treasure will be doing the fair as well. People who are familiar with Nat 21 Adventures will recognize my sword fighting partner for Buckle and Swash is Ryan. He plays Sinjin in our chill game. And as we like to say, it's attempted murder, but like funny. So you can check us out there.
There should be more commas in there. I apologize. I should have used more Oxford commas, but it was funny anyway.
And we'd also like to thank our sponsors before we go. We've got Little Empire on their Etsy shop. They make all sorts of gaming things, dice towers, dice trays, terrain, that kind of stuff. So check out their Etsy shop, Little Empire Gamecraft. We also have Ren Adventures. If you've ever wanted to tour a foreign country with Renaissance Fair performers who speak the language. Now, in this case, Scotland and England. We're doing a Dungeons and Dragons tour, but we also do ones in Italy where we have people who are fluent in Italian who will guide you around Italy and Sicily, or the Czech Republic, and people who are fluent in Czech. So check out renadventures.com. We also have Tabletop Teas, are one of our sponsors this week. So Loose Leaf Tea Blends, check them out. Go ahead and stay caffeinated for your games. And as a reminder, we also have our show schedule right here, where you can see coming up on Sunday, Savage Moon, Monday, Lady Prudence and Glamour Hobo Tales at 10 p.m. Our regular main 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game is at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. We do Crafting with the Crew on Wednesdays at 12:30 with Cubby and Shoshana right now. I hope to be getting on that. And then at 9 a.m. is Writing Sonnets with Shakespeare. And once again, 10 p.m., Gothic Horror Gaming with us. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining in, stopping in, spending your time with us, listening to our shenanigans. We'll get back to the horror gaming itself next week. But until then, thank you, everybody, so much for coming. Special thanks to Reverend Tommy for keeping everything in order. Thanks for all of our new people coming in, like Dead Meat. Thank you for joining us. Sally A, Johnny O'Twitch, Screaming Dragon, David Percival. Guys, thank you so much for being here week after week. We really do appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Monroe Max was here.
Right.
I'm trying to remember everybody that was in the stream that had been here at one point. And I would love to thank you all individually, but I tend to lose track because I'm yapping the whole time. So my apologies for that. So if I missed anybody, it was not deliberate. I'm so sorry. But on behalf of all of us, thank you so much and have a great evening, everybody.
Bye.